You know the drill by now.
No pre-bantering.
No pre-bantering allowed. That's insanity. It has been a day. I'm drinking my after-work wine.
Oh god, yeah, I should be doing that too. Honestly, just a bottle and a straw, that was my go-to in college. I
Oh,
had like this
God.
I had this bralette that had like straps in the center,
Sure.
and like it really just worked. It was like a cheap $5 bottle of it wasn't even Barefoot. It was the brand below Barefoot, so it was even cheaper than $5. Can't drink it currently. Absolutely not. But like, yeah, just straw bottle in my bralette,
Okay.
and you had it. It's like one of those like drink hats, but
Yeah, but
it's
a
for your
bra.
boobs and wine. Yeah.
Sure. SpongeBob could never.
No.
College really makes like a little bit of an alcoholic out of, I think, not everyone, but
Yeah.
most people. But it's okay because you're in college. Like, I feel like if you told me now you put a straw in a bottle of wine and put it in your bra, I would be like, Hannah, are you okay? But the fact
Yeah,
that it was in college, I'm like, yeah, that tracks. I once drank an entire bottle of cherry Moscato in a night.
yeah, so it was Moscato, so it was like pink Moscato. So like, yeah.
Sure. I'm
Yeah,
drinking
it was a
Moscato now.
standard.
The best kind
It
of
was
wine is the wine that doesn't taste like wine.
yeah.
It should just taste
The
like fruit juice.
the first episode of New Girl was like, I just want to drink pink wine and listen to Taylor Swift alone, and I felt so seen.
I mean,
Like,
we both look
pink
like
wine?
Jessica Day, and
Exactly.
we
We've
both
got it.
drink pink wine and
Listen to
listen to
Taylor
Taylor Swift.
Swift
So
alone. Go us.
the things are tracking.
Yeah.
Everything's adding up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I could maybe break out the bottle and straw method for whenever we record our first
That's true. When we
TBR
get
after hours.
our tipsy R. That wasn't what I was trying to say, but yeah, tipsy TBR was the phrase I was going for. Um, that'll be a bottle and a
Yeah.
straw type of situation.
A bottle and a straw. Yeah. That we've coined a new
Just
phrase.
a little light alcoholism
It's
for
'cause,
your
like,
enjoyment.
I said it before, but I mean, I need a reason to drink. It's like I don't really drink.
These are
Like,
the reasons. Everybody, pause what you're doing. Go listen to "Reasons I Drink" by Alanis Morissette. Come back. Or are
we're
you back?
Yeah.
You're back from listening to Alanis Morissette? That's great. Welcome back. The
Our
reasons that we drink are to get drunk and talk about books.
Yeah. Yeah, we're very cool. If you didn't know, we're cool kids.
We're so cool.
Yeah. We're the coolest. And
coolest kids on the
honestly,
block.
yeah. That's going to be so interesting. Like, would I even, like, I don't know about editing back. Like, can I even listen to myself inebriated like that? My friends have videos on their phones, and like
Well, we
they'll
can't get
randomly
that
send
drunk.
them.
We're
No,
just
but like,
lightly tipsy.
yeah. And it just feels like such a long time ago. And it doesn't, like, it technically wasn't, but like the pandemic has made time just molasses, but also lube. I didn't know what else would make things
like
go
that.
faster.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
my trademark. I'm
at
not
what
wrong, but I
cost?
was disappointing.
Oh. Welcome to
Yeah.
Romance Your TBR.
I'm
We're not
Hannah.
wrong, but we are disappointing.
Honestly. I mean, has anything ever been more true?
I don't know. And I'm Caroline. You introduced yourself and I did not, so here we are. This wine needs to kick in.
Yeah. I'm like on half a cup of coffee.
Mm.
I just don't drink it fast enough. And like it's or like lukewarm, and
that is why I invested after Estelle told me to in my mug warmer. Best thing I ever bought.
Ooh, you have a mug warmer. I have an insulated mug. My thing is that like it has a lid, so it like keeps it warm. Like I don't need anything like piping hot or anything. I'm a wimp. But I'll just keep the lid open, and then it defeats the purpose. So it's really it's my fault. I know. Yeah.
The mug warmer. First of all, it's pink. That was necessary. Second of all, it's got 3 little temperature settings, and it's just like a little mini hot plate, and it just keeps my coffee hot. And thank God, because it goes cold so quickly.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah. Well,
things that did not get cold quickly. We're talking about a rogue's rules for seduction, which stayed hot.
It really did. I mean, it was like, I've seen a lot of reviews being like, they were worried about the steam level because it didn't really like get going until like 70% because like groveling and making him suffer.
I feel like it was a little earlier than that.
I have no clue. But like once it started, it was just a marathon.
Well, but also like, yeah, they didn't do anything technically until whatever 60-70%. Yeah. But sexual tension was at an all-time high.
The tension was so high.
It was just like I was sweating the whole time. So great. It doesn't even feel like it's not steamy early on because I was sweating. and Dom was also sweating.
Yeah.
Willa too, but mainly Dom. That man was suffering. As he should.
As he should. I'm just like, there's just like a highlight reel of like everything that man went through. And it's a good one.
It is. I know,
like I can't, that's really like, it was just so delicious. This was going to be a hard
episode to record. Because what do we say?
Nothing. Like you can't, like.
That isn't just like, I want to bite his large thighs, you know?
Just sink the teeth in. Like, I don't know, because at the end of my review, I was like, I can tell you all of this and I can, try to warn you, but you're not prepared. And just like, I mean, because I was so surprised and how well the second chance worked and like how the angst was so meaningful at all the moments. Like it wasn't, I don't know, like it just averted like every pitfall sometimes that second chance has for me. And really is just, you're not prepared. What can we say?
I am a self-proclaimed second chance lover, but my caveat to that is that it's almost always historical second chances that I like.
Yeah.
I think contemporary second chance, like I there are some really phenomenal contemporary second chance romances that I love, but there is a much smaller number because I think it's harder to pull off. Because I think in historical romance, you can fall back on like, oh, their stations are different. Like their families wouldn't let them get married.
Blackmail is so much more prominent. Like there are a lot of things that happen.
Blackmail, kidnapping. You have to marry someone else for money. Yeah. You've inherited a bunch of debt and now you can't be together. Like there's a bazillion. You
accidentally killed someone and oops.
Sure. Oops.
What do you do now? You run.
Well, but versus contemporary, I'm like, if you broke up. Which is not to say there aren't valid reasons to break up and then you grow and change. But, like, you have to really convince me you've changed as people in a contemporary romance. But the interesting thing about this one is that it could be contemporary. Like, yeah, he... But, like, ultimately...
Okay.
Ultimately, but, like, the reason is...
One thing, spoilers for this book.
They have to know.
Rules. They have to know, but just covering our asses because I have, like, been... I don't know, confronted on Goodreads, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but here we are. Spoilers will be had.
Spoilers will be had.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, he killed somebody, but, like, ultimately the reason that they're not together is not
barely even killed someone.
Yeah, he got in a fight. Yeah, whatever. But, like, the reason was that they were they were very young and immature and using each other for
and which was so fascinating, and I didn't see that coming.
No. Especially because it wasn't just like Dom messed up. Willa also was doing the same thing to him. So I feel like this could translate into a contemporary setting.
Exactly.
Really easily.
I agree. Yeah, because I could see like any like contemporary couple like kind of using the one as kind of like their, I don't know, revered on a pedestal.
Right. It's the like good girl, bad boy.
Yeah. And then he is the
long hair, slick back.
It's like
t-shirt.
James Dean, Daydream.
Ding. Ding.
Just a suffering ding. Yeah. Relatable.
Anybody who doesn't listen to Taylor Swift listening to us is like, but also, what is happening?
We can't. I mean, don't blame us. Don't blame me. Don't blame you. Dang.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I think it's one of the best not just historical, but like generally one of the best second chances because it was very believable to me.
Yeah. It was,
and it wasn't like a dumb reason to break up.
No.
It was like, oh, you actually had to change your perspective and like grow and mature together.
Because most books would only do the surface level of Dom killing someone and then, you know, feeling that he can't like taint her and like bring her down. So then he leaves, and then, you know, 5 years later, however many years. And, you know, I think that a lot of times it's like illegitimacy. The guy will like learn he's illegitimate like before the marriage, and then he won't tell her, he won't talk to her, he'll just assume that she needs him to be legitimate to love him. He'll run away, things like that. So I loved the depth that this one had, where you were like, oh, so yeah, potentially a murderer. He's not really, but the potential's there, I guess. But like that's not really.
Thinks he's a murderer.
Yeah. So like he did the initial leaving, but they both had shit to work through, because I don't think they'd have that hot nasty sex.
No.
You know, if they started having sex back then. You know?
Also, both of them are like, if we had gotten married when we planned it, that would have gone badly.
A situation so hostile. Two hugely strong personalities in one house. Never really have, yeah.
Like, I mean, it would have made a good marriage in crisis book.
Yeah.
I'd have read the hell out of it, but it works this way too.
Well, and yeah. And it was just, because again, like, I just didn't see that coming. Like, I didn't expect for them to grow so much throughout the book, or even just like acknowledge their growth, like that happened in the meantime. Because like you always knew that Dom and Willow were going to be a book, like that was no question, but I didn't really realize how surface level they were until we got this book, and then you were like, oh, all the things I thought were just not even breaking the surface.
Yeah. Well, because we had 2 books of them breaking up at the very beginning and being the impetus for this entire series.
Yeah.
And then them just, like, in the background.
Yes. Yeah. Like,
being mad. But none of the main characters in those books know what happened, except that Kieran and Finn were dumb. I mean, they did their best, but they did help their best friend jilt their sister. So, like, at the altar, too, that Dom, you at any point before the wedding day, if you were this pressed about it, could have called the wedding off. And instead he said, but what if I wait until the morning of while we're at the church?
I would have, I mean, the rage I would have felt. And Willow was able to sit in her rage. She was able to still be angry and throw things at him and at walls and break things. I respect
Willa so much. Willa showing up for the first time in this book and her first line being fuck is the funniest.
And then just throwing,
nailing him with a
it's so good.
Porcelain shepherdess. Respect.
Because, like, I recently read another Second Chance where I was really vibing with it until, you know, the hero was just, like, kind of feeling bad for himself and, like, not really, like, letting the heroine stay mad at him. And, like, he was always trying to, like, force his presence with her. And he was always, like, he was apologizing, but it felt more for him than for her. And then she was never really, like, she had some great lines. But I don't think she was able to, like, value her anger enough throughout the book. Like, maybe she did in the past, but we didn't get to see that. And this one, I mean, Dom was just trying to stay away from her because he's like, I feel so shitty. Like, if I'm ruining, like, her time, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to take the room up in the attic and, like, sleep on a wet mattress and, like, wake up so that my clothes are steaming in front of the fire because I'm soaked. And, like, he did everything he could to, like, make her experience comfortable. And in his mind, that was just leaving her the fuck alone. And then she was able to, like, control more of, like, what happened. Or, I mean, some people kind of, like, put them together and stuff. But I just really loved how he understood that he fucked up, and he was just letting her live her angry life, and I liked that so much.
But also notably, still, like, mad jealous.
Oh yeah. Oh, that revenge dress, and it was it green, like, an atonement,
the green revenge dress. There was her flirting with that other guy, and Dom just, like, glaring angrily in the middle of the room. But, like, not doing anything, just standing there being angry.
Not literally just...
He was so mad. Oh my god, I love that man. Also, as a side note, I tried the first time I read this to highlight any mention of his thighs. I went back and counted. I think my count is at 6, but it could be more than that.
Well, because you could just search the word thighs, and I think it would tell you
the. So valid, but I didn't count because sometimes it would be like his thighs hit the table or something, but it wasn't like specifically being
not
like
the main
his
character.
thickly muscled thighs, right?
Yeah.
I only counted if his thighs were the main character.
Yeah.
And it was several times. The first of which was chapter 1. It was right away.
It was right away.
His thickly muscled thighs.
And I need to take a moment to just say, like, mad respect to Eva Leigh. Like, she promoted the shit out of this book. She tweeted the shit out of it. Like, she had the standards high. Like, I was expecting a great book, and so for it to, like, live up to this, but also just imagine the pressure of having to write this, like, crazy second chance after structuring your entire series around it. I would have, I don't know, crumpled under the thickly muscled thighs and been squashed.
Like a watermelon.
Pancake. Yeah. Oh, God, he could definitely squash a watermelon.
Delicious. I am just going through my highlights now. Also, we need to talk about low-key. One of the highlights of this book was just Kieran and Celeste and Finn and Tabitha being insane. The number of times that, like, specifically Kieran and Celeste would be horny on Maine and one of their siblings would be there to be like, gross.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah. And that's...
Where's my lusty Salome?
That was amazing.
Well, it's like, I'm going to pretend this never happened. And also, I think this is actually my favorite thing that happened in the entire book. I'm not even going to lie to you. But there's a part where, what's his name, the host comes in and is like, I have this, like, exciting thing lined up. For that host. And, for real. And Kieran's immediate response is an orgy, and Celeste pats his hand and goes, always hoping. That's what I love about you.
I didn't even clock that.
It took me out because she's like, Kieran. Because he keeps being like, oh, an orgy?
Oh, that was...
He just wants to orgy. No? What?
Okay, cool. I just had like a calendar notification pop up, and I never know if you can like hear them. Cool.
No.
Okay, back to orgies. Back to the regularly scheduled
Kieran
orgies.
just really wants to orgy.
Yeah. It's a verb now. Deal with it.
Right. As we established. That's all. That and the vibes specifically between the guys. There's a part where like they're out shooting and they're just insulting each other, and he's like, "Go frig yourself with a chainmail glove," and I'm like, "What is going on?"
So like, while I do think technically you could, if you wanted to, read this as a standalone, like I think you could. I think it gives you enough context. But I do think obviously you get the full scope of emotions and like the giddiness when you see those side characters. I think even if you like read like the first chapter, I guess, of book 1 to really like understand that setup, I mean, I'd recommend reading them all. But if you're like, I just want to read this one, you could. I think you could. But I think
I would not.
No, like,
I don't think the second chance would hit as hard.
No, I don't think so. Like, I think it would still be a very good second chance, but like you won't have in book 2 them trying to set up Dom
with
Tabitha, and Dom's just like, no.
Well, also, every time Dom shows up in both of the previous books, he's just like drinking and sad.
Yeah.
But no one knows what happened.
He's just drinking and sad. Yeah.
He needs a bottle of wine and a straw. He does have the bottles of wine, though.
To him.
He won both of those bottles of wine because Willa didn't take hers.
True.
Shout out to that contest, by the way.
That was so fun.
It was so unnecessarily entertaining.
I've never read the Pall Mall scene in the Duke and I.
I love that scene.
Or is it the second one?
I think it's the second one.
It's Anthony's.
It's Kate.
Yeah. So I haven't read that, but I feel like the vibes would be similar.
They are similar vibes. Yeah. Not quite the same because in that one they're competing against each other. This one they're on the same team. But it is excellent. I really do. I don't love the Bridgerton books that I've read, but I do love the Pall Mall scene. Pall Mall? I think it's Pall Mall.
Yeah,
I think it's Pall Mall. But I as someone with siblings and siblings-in-law, I was like, yeah, that's how this would go. And this scene in this book, I was like, that's correct.
Well,
between my siblings, it would be less dirty.
I'd hope.
The vibes would be the same.
Like, it's so fun when I can see, like, a modern situation in a historical, because, like, I always there's such a separation, and there shouldn't be for me, but, like, there's such a separation of what was the past and what we do today, and, like, when you really think about it, a lot of shit they did back then is stuff we do now. So I always love those little vignettes of, they're just like you, except for their thighs.
Just like you. They also get drunk and play stupid games and bet against their siblings.
Honestly. Yeah.
Well, we have to talk about his bloody knees, obviously. I don't even know how to.
That was so lovely.
I just really respect the commitment.
Yeah, like, that's my new threshold. If there's no groveling that results in bloody knees, like, just the symbology of, like, bloodying your knees, not only going down on her, but just, like, in the grovel, like,
right. No, that's
something so personally to me. Or, to be Jamie Tart, that did something so sexually to me.
I feel like she really understood.
She did.
She understood the assignment. She said, if I'm going to have this man grovel, he's going to grovel.
Yeah, like, I think she really, and not necessarily, like, listen to readers or whatever, but, like, you can tell she's a reader, and you can tell, like, she knows what she wants to read, and I think this book just really encapsulated, like, an author who also just really understands what a reader wants at the moment in time, and we needed this. We did. Oh, so the setup to the knee bloodying grovel scene was the Greek
play, the amateur
the tableaus.
Yeah. Well, they thought it was a tableau. That's
and then they had to act.
By the way, that would be my villain origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Not even the, like, setting me up with my ex, just the tricking me into going on stage with no prep. That is quite literally my recurring anxiety dream.
And, like, I also just have to wonder, like, how short his, like, chitin was, because I got the impression that his dick is really just waiting to burst, like, to break free, to, like, soar, to fly. There's not a star.
I don't think it's that short.
But I just, like, in the when they were at the gazebo thing, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I just got the sense that it was so prominent, and I'm like, how was it, like, what was going on during this scene?
Maybe he's a grower.
I think he's just a grower and a shower. I think he's just got a massively girthy dick that he can't even get his hands around.
That, by the way, I will note, that's concerning to me.
When he was like, he couldn't even get it. Like, his hands could, like, grasp a basketball with no issue. So, like,
the man has giant hands.
So
what do you mean?
Riddle me that.
That and the, like, the line that has haunted me since the first time I read it about when I think it's when she's going down on him and she says the head of it is nearly the size of a plum.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean?
Like,
what
I know.
What does it mean?
Like, I know genetically engineered, like, plums weren't. I mean, I don't know if they had, but, like,
that just frightens me.
No, that's valid.
I also do respect the first time she sees it. Her response is like, but how the size? And because, like,
I had that thought, frankly, throughout the entire second half of that book, because she was put through her paces in that first sex scene, and then she just kept going to Pound Town.
She did.
So, like,
I have to imagine she was in pain later on.
Yeah, because maybe, like, while you're, like, the adrenaline, but, like, when you wake up, like, I don't think you should be able to walk.
Yeah, I don't know. I do respect that following that night, the
That was so much
sextravaganza,
fun.
just their entire family pulled up.
That I had to re-listen to that scene, like, when I was listening to the audiobook, because it's just so much fun.
It's so funny.
Of, like, Dom hearing their voices, being like, Willow, wake up. And he's like, okay, she's not waking up. I sexed her too hard. So then, like, he, like, he's, like, opens the door. He's, like, blocking. And he's just like, oh, yeah, we're fine.
It's like the scene in, Scott Pilgrim. Where he's studying right now and you see him dive out the window. It's that, but instead of diving out the window, she just appears at the door
and
wearing
she's just
blankets.
Like in the blanket, and then she doesn't really realize what's happening at first, and then she does. She's like, "Oh my god!" runs back inside, and then
she's so real.
And then Kieran and Finn are just like, marriage. We're excited for that. Our plan worked. It was just such a fun, because like the book had so many fun moments too that balanced out the pain, and again the pain was so delicious. The pain.
As I say, every time Kieran is like, but can we have an orgy? And they're like, no. And Celeste is like, it's okay, my love. Your fair skin would get burned if we had an outdoor orgy. So this is probably for the best. I love Celeste. They're like, he's probably writing another fucking poem. And Celeste is like, I can't wait to read it. I'm like, Celeste, you are better than me. I could never marry a poet.
Yeah. I was just reading a book, and the hero had like written a poem for like a woman he had mistakenly been in love with, and he was so embarrassed by it when it like she like made an appearance and she's like, I still have it. He's like, good God, get rid of it.
I have a poem that someone wrote me once.
Oh no.
Did I tell you that? I feel like I must have sent it to you. Yeah, there was a guy that I dated for like a month, and for Valentine's Day he wrote me a poem. He actually technically wrote me too, because he wrote me a poem before we were dating.
Yeah.
He did. It was funny. I have critical or like critiques, technically. But it was a funny poem at the very least.
He took Peter Kavinsky one step higher and actually wrote the poem and didn't just change the name.
That's true.
But
at what cost?
At what cost? You know.
True.
I have to put that out there.
Pain.
I'm just looking at my notes, and I have it's big, sweetheart, as a quote, because it was big, sweetheart.
It was big. My highlights are all either like thighs or him flexing his hand a la Darcy.
Yeah, yep, I have that. That's in my review.
Or his spectacles, obviously.
The secret sexy spectacles.
There are some that are like Kieran and or Finn and or Celeste being funny. Or just like insane quotes.
Yeah.
Like wait, where was the did ever a man bless the rack that tortured him, praising the machine that pulled his limbs from their sockets, applauding the device that made his existence hell?
That's the level of like true.
He's referring to her green gown, by the way. Yeah. That's the rack that's torturing him. Is Willa in a pretty dress. And it should. Like, that, and at the very end, I'll love you until after the stars have turned to coal. What the fuck?
He's the true poet.
Yeah. That's some Bridgerton level love confessions. Bridgerton, the show. I mean, I guess technically the books, but the show.
And then when he like started calling her lioness instead of princess, because like princess is like one of my like weak spots. I do love, you know, the use of princess. But in this one, it was so fascinating because she was like, I'm not a princess, like that you were idolizing and like putting me on a pedestal and stuff. So then he was like, my lioness. And then it was just consistent throughout. And I was like, rawr. Rawr.
Rawr indeed. Rawr.
And I just,
indeed.
They had like bread and cheese. They had like soup during their like sex.
Yeah, let's talk about this quote. Who knew a strapping man wearing nothing but breeches as he cooks for you could be such an aphrodisiac? I mean, I knew.
There's a Lorraine Heath where he makes her 2 egg omelets. And I felt it deep in my body. So, I will agree. Like, and I think he was naked during one of them. But, like, it's just because you don't see a lot of men cooking in historical.
I just think cooking naked sounds dangerous.
Yeah. Well, especially all these men who are constantly aroused. Yeah. Like, that's like you got a traffic cone just like banging into the wall in the oven. Like, I feel like you could, like, turn the oven on if you didn't mean to. Or actually, no, that's modern sensibilities. They did not have, like, switches. My bad.
Well, but you certainly could turn her on if you didn't mean to.
So true. We're back at it again. We've established the correct scene. And he, like, fetched those berries.
He did.
Like, he, like, walked.
And then he
just
pulled
like,
up with berries and cream.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Berries and cream.
Little lad. Do you not know?
It was that viral.
Oh, you froze right when I said that.
Oh, I'm just, like, staring at you.
Yeah, that was. I was like,
no emotion, and you're like, oh my god. No, I have. I think everything I know of it was against my will, but I do know.
Sure. There's I've been getting a lot of the because I've watched part of Queen Charlotte, so I've been getting a lot of the like cast interview like clips on my socials, which crack me up because the cast is really funny, particularly the leads. But there's there's one that really killed me because it's like when your friend doesn't know the reference, where she was talking about the wigs, and Corey interrupts and goes, "Do you wear wigs?" Like that. Whatever Lord of the Rings interview, and she clearly had not seen it, so she like side eyes him really hard. And he's like, do you not know? And she's like, no. Oh, that's my friends. I'm always out here quoting just obscure internet things, and they're like, what is wrong with you? Bombastic side eye.
Bombastic.
Criminal offensive side eye.
Bombastic penis.
Yeah.
That is dumb.
That's dumb. What book was it that I feel like you have to have read it also? There was a book where he had like a school nickname, and it turns out it's because
he had a really big dick.
No, it's because he like turned all the girls on.
Yeah, I definitely read that.
What book is that?
It's Lorraine Heath, I think.
I don't think so, because I haven't read anything other than. Hang on,
it's because he's a duke, and his nickname is Spark, or like something like Stoker. The nickname is Stoker.
Is it Runaway Duchess? No, because he's not a duke.
No, but it was definitely Stoker. I don't know what that information does without knowing the book. But
is it The Duke Gets Even?
Yes,
I bet it's Lockwood.
Yeah, because he loved a cougar.
Stoker. That's a great nickname.
And that added depth to him.
That's what did it.
Yeah.
Not the like chronic health condition.
No, it was him stoking the flames of cougars in his area.
Oh, the pre-internet version of cougars in your area.
You just have to get a nickname at Eton or wherever he went. Yeah. That's a core memory now. I mean, Lockwood. And talk about another romance that was like brewing the entire series. That's between true. What's her name? I know Nellie. It's Nellie and then Andrew. That was great. And then I cannot encapsulate the feeling. I talked about it a little bit in the last episode, or when we were talking about The Bride Goes Rogue. When the people who read the arcs got to the end, and there was the one chapter where Lockwood's in the water, and then Nellie like swims up to him and like caresses him and all that. Mountains moved. Okay, I don't know what to tell you besides I have never been so unwell physically after reading it, like a teaser.
I can tell you when I have been that unwell. It was the oh shoot, why did I immediately the final like little epilogue part right before Married by Morning. When Leo walks in and closes the door and is like, we need to talk about what happened. And I was like, yes, we do.
What the fuck happened?
What happened?
Well, that's the thing.
That
like, I could
not. The epilogue of It Happened One Autumn, where Evie pulls up in Sebastian's house and is just like, heard you were looking for a wife.
I will say that was a little bit ruined for me because I read Devil in Winter first.
That's fair, but nothing. But unlocked something in me.
Yeah,
both of those. Well, because Lisa Kleypas is really good.
Teasing.
like building up a relationship over previous books, and then giving you a little teaser right at the end.
It's the art of teasing. The rogue's rules for teasing and something. I don't know.
Wow, you're gonna need to think that one through before you make it the episode title.
I know. What else could that be? A rogue's rules for...
If anything, it's like an author's rules for relationship edging. They're edging us all.
An author's rules for relationship edging. I like
She's
that.
like, you're gonna get this book, but not for years.
And you're just gonna
sit here with them simmering in the background.
Yeah, like, just, and then you just have the Duke of Lockwood just naked in a vast
Sarah MacLean
ocean.
has some good, like, introduce a relationship at the beginning that you don't really know what's going on until the last book, and then you get their book. When we finally get the Duchess's book,
stop.
That is gonna unlock something in me.
Or Tessa Dare edging the shit out of everyone unintentionally with the Bride Bet, I think it's called, in the 4th book in the most recent series. I think because, like, the end of book 3, like the teaser in that kind of resembled Evie Dunmore's book 4, or like I always get them confused of like who already has a husband and then who is already engaged. Like, I think they're kind of along the similar lines. Yeah, you're right to bring up the test, or the whichever one you just brought up that I already forgot. Yep.
Is that what we were talking about?
The Duchess. That's gonna be great.
Well, the third Bare Knuckle Bastards book does kind of a similar, like, you know, there's something something going on that whole series. And boy, is it going on. God.
Is the Duchess, she's married, right?
Yeah.
Because so do we think it's going to be like a second chance, or is he going to croak?
I don't know. There was like a brief mention of her. I can't remember because it's been so long since I read.
I feel like it's going to be like a really good second chance, or like a marriage in crisis.
Either a good second chance, but there was like a brief mention of she has some, like, I don't remember if he was like her, like, what would you, like, steward or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about? There was like a very casual throwaway mention of him, and I was like, who is this? And that could literally just be like a random side character who's one of her
it could be Lisa Kleypas making Daisy and Cam make out
randomly
and then doing nothing with that information.
Yeah, it could be literally nothing. And it could be I would love a marriage in crisis second chance romance.
Well, because she would make that man, she would like strip him naked and roast him like a stuck pig.
I mean, you haven't read her other marriage in crisis book.
No.
But you may hate it. I, however,
that's valid.
Delicious.
Was that the one that he cheated?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. I've read a few Eloisa James with that premise, and the one actually didn't make me as mad as I thought it was going to make me, which is credit to the book.
It honestly didn't make me that mad, just because it was like a...
I think for me, it's harder when the cheating happens, like, after you've been, like, introduced to the character. Like, because, like, in that book, the cheating's already happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, you see it in the first book in that series.
Yeah.
Which is not their book. It's like they were like romantically involved, but then he thinks that she tricked him into marriage, and so they like have a horrible fight, and he's like, I hate you and I never want to speak to you again, and you'll never be my wife in truth, whatever. And then he like sleeps with somebody else.
That's better reasoning than the Eloisa James one.
Pregnant with his child, and he like says it, he doesn't even believe it's his, and it's really awful, and he's terrible. But there's like a lot of things go, so like it's not good. But I feel like it's not as bad as just like, it's cheated because he felt like it.
Yeah, like for me, where I draw the line is if like you are reading these characters, they've already established like a relationship like with you as a reader on the page, and then one of them goes off and just like does something really shitty, and then you have to like come back from that, and there's never really enough time to really repair that damage, because like, you know, in that book, you know, it's been like years of festering, whereas this is just so recent. And so like that's I think where I get the angriest.
I would be fascinated. I just read, what is that book? Ravishing the Heiress.
Yes, you did.
And I would be fascinated to see whether you like absolutely fucking hate that book.
It's on my list to read.
Cause I was in pain the whole time. Truly, I was suffering. But it's like, because it is cheating, but it's like not. I mean, it is technically, but it's one of those situations where like it's really strictly a marriage of convenience, and they both go into it knowing that he's in love with someone else, and he thinks that she's in love with someone else, and like she right away before they're even married is like, we're not going to consummate the marriage for 8 years. You can live as if you're not married to me. Do whatever you want. I'm going to live as if I'm unmarried. Like, whatever. And then 8 years later, his like childhood love comes back widowed, and he wants to like start up a relationship with her again. So he like gives it 6 months to try for an heir with her, but in the meantime, in the past 8 years, they've become very good friends and like built a marriage together. But he doesn't like realize that she's been in love with him the whole time. And it hurts so bad. I the pain, but like in a good way, where I was like suffering. I had to listen to the whole thing in like practically one go because I was just in pain.
I saw you listen to that, and I was like, do I face the peer pressure?
I kind of wish I had read the first book. It's the second book in three.
Okay.
I mean, I don't. It's fine. Yeah. But it's like dual timeline, so you hear about. It's his sister that is the heroine for the previous book, and she has like 2 previous husbands that die. Nice. And so you like hear about her in the past, like mourning these other husbands, and then in the present, she's married to the hero from that book. So you get like kind of hints of what happened there, which is interesting. And also, it's setting up the third book where, oh my god, I don't know what. The third one is Amnesia.
Oh, I probably have it in one of my shelves. This is ringing a bell.
It's I can't remember, Tempting the Bride.
Yep.
I looked at the premise, fucking bonkers. But they also are like touching. I mean. Touching.
They're just touching.
Yeah, they're touching. No, it was like this drama, which also I guess must have happened in the first book, where like she's been having an affair with this guy and this very close like family friend who's such an asshole to her, but has been in love with her the entire time, but he's too proud to admit it, so he's just awful to her all the time. Like told her brother about the affair, but didn't say who it was with because she kept almost getting caught, and he was like, "You're gonna ruin yourself." So they like separated them, and now she's pissed at him, and he's writing erotica that she's like publishing, or he gave it to her to publish, and it is very intense erotica, by the way, and it's clearly written about her. And
wait, have you read this book?
No, this is all happening during Ravishing the Heiress.
Oh.
Their book is going to be her almost getting caught, and he has to marry her and elope with her to save her reputation, and then on the way back, there's like a carriage accident and she gets amnesia.
What a tangled web we weave. I can understand why people don't like Amnesia, but what a tangled web. I eat it up so hardcore.
Listen, the first Sherry Thomas I tried to read was delicious, and I ended up DNFing, even though the writing was beautiful. I couldn't vibe with the plot. But every Sherry Thomas I have read since then.
Which ones? Because we read The Luckiest Lady in
London. Luckiest Lady in London and this one. I'm trying to think. Okay. I feel like I've read another one. But I'm blanking. Whatever. Insane. They're so good.
I second the delicious. I think I gave it like 3 stars. I couldn't I couldn't focus on it. Like my audiobook brain, like it just would not latch on to anything in that book.
I think I would go back and try reading it again.
I think I would, like if I was doing like a Sherry Thomas just like read through and like trying to get like all of her stuff, I'd read it again because I don't remember anything about it. I think I'm assuming her name was Delicious. No, that's a terrible name. A chef. That's a terrible name. Not She's Delicious. A chef.
That's why it's called Delicious.
Yeah,
and it's like a second chance.
Scratch that. Situation. Yeah, I literally nothing is in my brain for that one.
That's okay.
But yeah, I saw that and I was immediately fascinated. And like, do I go? I'm reading like Grace Callaway right now because I talked at the end of our last episode about rereading Regarding the Duke, which I did. Great decision, no regrets. And then I like went back and listened to the first one, and then I'm gonna like do that series. But yeah, Sherry Thomas. On the note,
I need to finish the Luckiest Lady in London, that series. I
Oh,
need to read
yeah.
both the other books in this series because I got multiple people when I posted on my story that I finished Ravishing the Heiress. Multiple people that were like, that whole series is 5 stars.
Her
Yeah, writing is just like insane.
Yeah, I just think maybe that will be the ultimate slump breaker.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the one after Luckiest Lady. I think that one's Private Arrangements, and that's the one with the like Duchess and her estranged husband. The one that she tries to get him to cheat on his wife.
Oh, that one.
That lady. The one who's like, what if we had an affair? And he's like, you don't actually want to sleep with me.
I didn't realize we were getting her book.
That's the
what
next
a tangled web.
What a tangled web.
Wow.
I also will be curious. I don't remember a lot about Delicious, but I remember there was like that secondary romance.
There was a secondary, yeah.
And it was somebody Marsden. And also in these other books, we keep hearing mention of Marsdens. Like as like side throwaway characters.
I'm just predisposed to love every person named Marsden because James Marsden is one of my favorite actors.
Oh, see, I hear Marsden and I think of Marcus Marsden, the Earl of Westcliff.
His last name is Marsden?
I'm like 98% sure.
I believe you.
Be wrong.
No, I believe you. I'm just
sure
like, wow.
That's like the family name, so you don't hear it very much.
It's always so impossible for me to remember the family names because there's always the title. Okay.
Oh, it's like Sebastian Chalon is his like family name, but he's St. Vincent or Kingston.
But Matthew Swift, I got you. I know your name.
Okay, we know Matthew Swift.
And there's
I actually don't remember.
Right? Samuel Hunt.
Simon Hunt.
Simon Hunt, not Samuel Hunt. Rip to me.
And I'm fully blanking on the names and again the magic, but that's okay.
Yeah, and again I'm waiting to read that one until we do an episode on it.
Oh God.
I'm very excited. My friend is reading the Wallflower series right now, and I was like, just wait to read that prequel until we do the episode because she listens to this.
I will never recover. It's fine. Everything is fine. We are so far off track from what this episode was supposed to be about.
But I have a connector.
Oh,
I have a little web that we can weave to connect all of it. And it's that while we were talking about like infidelity and having sex with other people and all that, I loved that Dom was celibate.
Oh, my man could not get it up for anyone else.
I love that. Like,
and there is so celibate from the time he met her. They weren't even courting.
So I mean, this man just has the bluest balls on that side of the whatever ocean, Pacific, Atlantic. I don't fucking know. I'm not good with Atlantic. Cool. I'm not good with directions. I always just say this side of the Mississippi because that's like relevant for me, but they would have no clue what the Mississippi River was in that time period. So
you could say that side of the Thames, or whatever the channel is. It the English Channel?
I love that Scotland. You think I would know.
Okay,
that's very validating. But no, I do not know.
Because this technically takes place on like a Scottish island.
Yeah, which is also another thing. I love that they were just like stranded on the island.
I love a house party.
And
as soon as she announced it was an island house party, I was like, Eva, you know.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, the boat might be back in a couple weeks.
So then you had like the pressure of like the boat, like when the boat's coming, because then like she could leave the island because she wanted to leave immediately, but she couldn't because the boat had already taken off. And so then you get like the dramatic scene at the end of like, is she going on the boat? To boat or not to boat?
That is the question.
And again, like,
and also the first sighting where they thought it might be the boat.
Yeah,
and they both were like, "Oh no!" But then it wasn't. Immediately after Dom hauling a boat full of grown men out of the water. By the way, just single-handedly,
so
he is so large.
He's so large. Like, I guess we can talk about the end after we talk about the sex, because we haven't even really talked about that at all.
I mean, what is there to say?
Shave me down and make me round.
What?
you never seen that SpongeBob episode? Shave me down and make me round.
I mean, I have a mental image of the round SpongeBob in my head.
Because he's trying to be a ghost. And so, like for Halloween, and he, like, the sheet over his, like, square body just doesn't do it for people. They make fun of him, and so, like, he's like, shave me down, make me round, and eventually they, like, shave all of him off, and he just has a brain. But, like, it's, like, shaving him in the shape of, like, a round ghost. And I just use shave me down, make me round for a lot of things in life.
Okay.
You know, you say live like Larry, but also you say shave me down, make me round.
I don't, but I do say living like Larry. You are correct on that one.
Yeah.
LLL. As opposed to LLS. Ladies love Schmidt. Second New Girl reference in one episode. Anyway, the 4-chapter sextravaganza, which, by the way, I love that it's like we have the most intense sex, and then we have a really intense emotional break where the chapter ends with him being like, I'm a murderer. And then we have all of that, and then I think they eat first, and then they just have more sex.
They sup.
They sup, yes.
They sup. And then they
explore some kink. Tup,
yeah, they do.
Is the word you were looking
for. Oh, for the love of God.
That's a literal word.
That would have been perfect.
You can go back and edit it.
No, I'm
just
devastated.
Say it again.
I have to give you
Can we fix
your
that
credit.
in post?
Fix it in post. Oh my God, that would have. Yeah, that one's gonna haunt me.
Yeah, that's okay. I do remember before this book was even, I think, on NetGalley, I remember Eva posting about how, I think she had said, like, she couldn't decide if she wanted him to be dominant or her, and so she was like, both.
Why choose?
And she really did give us both.
She, like, also was clear to mention that, like, Willa just rides his dick down to a toothpick.
Sure, as she does.
And I think they made reference to, like, something similar, but then Willow was like, yeah, that did not work at all because your dick is still huge. She, like, looks on it. She, like, looks at it.
Yeah, he was like, you're gonna, like, ride me down to a sliver. And she was like, you could, frankly, afford to have something
I would be happy, honestly. It would be a little less
It would make my job easier.
Yeah.
She really did. She said, riding crop. Restraints. Just some fun little BDSM there.
Just a smattering. Yeah, we're just staring off into the distance.
I just am thinking about the first time that I read that when I was like, ooh, we're getting to the sex scene, and then my jaw was just on the ground for 4 chapters.
Because it just doesn't stop. Like, you
thought it does, but it just switches to, like, emotional intensity.
Yeah, like, you thought Heartbreaker had, like, a marathon, and it does, but this is, like, something even harder than a marathon. I'm not a runner, but I have to assume.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. I don't know, like a triathlon? Like,
I love that you think I would know this.
Validating you. There's, like, different stages. So, like, the triathlon has, like, the running and the biking and the...
That's true. We have the standard emotional sex.
Yeah.
The emotional intensity.
And then
kink exploration.
Yeah. That's our new triathlon. Kinkathlon? No. Sexathlon. I don't know.
That sounds like...
Sexathlon actually works because, like, sext is, like, 6 or something, I think.
I know, that's why I was saying it makes you think that there's 6 different stages, though.
I mean, we could establish them. Bread and cheese, 1 stage, all of its own.
I don't think it's bread and... Well, actually, I don't know what food
they do eat bread and cheese.
Okay, sorry.
They do. I have it in my thing.
Oh.
Because I note it now, because I'm like, bread and cheese. But I think soup really stuck with me.
Oh, he also bathes her?
Yeah.
Oh, there's they get off in between there too, because he bathes her, gets her off. They have a whole conversation where she's like slow at first, and then he's like, and then a good hard fucking, and she's like, correct. Then I think they might talk a little bit more. No, and then they like clean up, and she's like, what are these ropes for? And he's like,
yeah.
And then we have Dom Willa, and then we have Dom Dom. Dom, dom, dom. I'm so sorry.
And then the riding crop.
We're at this point literally just recapping what happened, but it's because I have nothing to say except wow, 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 wow. That's it. That's all I got.
You can quote us.
I have nothing else to say.
No. Yeah. I mean, I guess we can just go on to the end, and it like did what it needed to do, because like it wasn't like necessarily a breakup. Like they didn't. I mean, Dom really wanted. He was basically like, okay, we're getting married, and then Willow was like, actually, I need some time to like. It's like the post nut clarity, but she needed like the, I don't know, equivalent of that, but just like not necessarily like to gain clarity. She didn't necessarily have it. And then it worked out in a very normal and healthy way, I thought. You know, like she had time to think, and then when she was like confronted with the fact that they could be leaving on the boat, she was like, wait, I've made up my mind. And then it just worked. I don't remember the epilogue, what that did. I really don't remember.
It was their wedding. They came back to the island and got married, and I wept. It's fine.
Yeah, we gotta give one out to Mary Jane Wells for that audio performance.
My one qualm, I do have a qualm.
She has a qualm.
I have a qualm, and that is that she does not distinguish between Dom with his accent. Like she goes hard on the whatever the like dock. I think is it like East End accent? Whatever it is. I feel like it's East End. I don't know why. I think that I don't know all the different British accents.
I don't even know East, North, West, South. Like I'm so bad with directions. So yeah,
because they mention his like whatever accent. So we're gonna say East End, even though I could fully be wrong on that.
It's not Dickensian. It's Dickensian.
Nice. That was solid. You made up for the tup miss. But in the book it says like he's had these elocution lessons, and so he like kind of talks more like an aristocrat, but then when he's like turned on or upset or whatever, he slips into the accent, and Mary Jane Wells does his accent the entire time. She doesn't really distinguish. Like she might make a little bit of a difference.
I heard a little bit of a difference, but yeah, it wasn't like
but I wanted him to be speaking not quite the way that Kieran and Finn do, but I wanted you to clearly distinguish between like he's doing his like aristocratic fucking aristos. I wanted to hear
dramatic teen.
He is so dramatic.
He's an angsty teen.
So angsty. But that's really my only qualm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she also gave Matthew Swift a Bostonian accent. No, yeah, wasn't it? Or Irish. She gave him an Irish accent.
No, it was in the Christmas one she gave him the Irish accent.
And he's just straight up from Boston, and she made him from Ireland. It was so confusing. I was like, is my man Irish?
Well, frankly, that is on the audiobook producers. They needed to have caught that.
Well, because she also did another wild accent in that.
It was Westcliff. It wasn't an accent. Yeah. She made Westcliff sound like a snotty old man.
Yeah.
Only in the first scene.
I don't know why she went there, but she did. So she, and again, I don't know. But that audiobook was worth the Kobo credit.
Indeed.
I exchanged in its honor. Yeah.
I have nothing else.
I think the episode title should just be Yeah.
I think it should be dom dom dom.
Dom 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 dom.
All right, different vibes than my initial vibes, but that worked.
You don't want like a swinging like 60s, like 50s even. What even song is that?
You know, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I can only hear the beginning of it. I can't hear any of the words. That's okay. I don't know. I don't think you singing it repeatedly is gonna help either.
It's not.
I think we're trapped in this limbo.
Wumbo.
Hate. How many references can we make in one episode?
Too many?
Too true. Too true.
Too true.
If you had to pick one of the Ransom brothers or Dom,
Yeah, it's dumb.
That's valid.
That's valid.
Well,
because I'm like thinking about it, and I don't really think Kieran is my type of guy. I think his poems would literally make me beat him. Like, I don't think we're right for each other.
Celeste is a better woman than we.
Yes, I will say Finn, I do love him.
I'm up there with Finn. I would have a hard time.
I think the only reason is because I wasn't just like the biggest fan of the book. So like, I don't like. I think if I was that much of a fan of Finn, it would have like I'd want to reread it, and I'm not. Like, I haven't reread it since I read it the first time. I have the Libby hold that like keeps coming through for the audiobook, and I'm just like, deliver later, deliver later. On my wedding day, deliver later. Like giving birth, deliver later. Like,
well, you can't deliver later if you're in the midst of birth.
True. I'll deliver twice. That one later, the baby now. Yeah.
I don't know. How about you? I've certainly reread the steamy scenes from Finn's book because that man can put it down. The dining table scene did things to me. But in reality, I think of the three, I would end up with Finn. Like, if those three were real people, I think Dom would be too much for me.
Well, that's true, because I'm not...
We are not Willa.
No.
However, my fantasy, Dom. But here's the thing, though. I am a huge fan of the, like, giant, grumpy, angsty man with no self-esteem who's gonna take what he wants / doesn't think he deserves it, who is also usually foreign in some way. So, like, Dane from Lord of Scoundrels, he's got the, like, Italian. Lucian from Portrait of a Scotsman is Scottish. Dom is not foreign in the sense that he's from a foreign country, but foreign in the sense that he's from, like, the docks, whatever that... I can't remember the name of... They say it so many times where he's from, the neighborhood.
I think, like, my hero type that we haven't really gotten in this series is, like, the stodgy Duke, who, like, has repressed... Yeah, who has repressed all of his emotions, or even not a Duke, but, like, it could also be an industrial capitalist man. Hello, Tom. Hello, Matthew Swift.
Hello, Tom.
They're two completely different characters. But, like, I talked about One Fine Duke and Lenora Bell. Andrew is just so, or Drew, I guess, is just so baffled by that woman. But he's along for the ride. Like, he's a good sport about it.
Ambitious but repressed.
Ambitious but repressed.
Baffled by
well, he was actually kidnapped, and he had a lot of trauma with that. So then, like, he had a lot of issues. Or what else? I guess, like, another Andrew that we talked about in The Duke Gets Even. He is a core, because, like, in his book isn't my favorite. Like, I think book 3 is, but Preston wouldn't be the hero I'd choose there. Like, I think it would have to be Keen. No, not Keen. That's another Andrew. Oh my god, I know so many Andrews in these books. From One Duke down. My god. I guess just name him Andrew and I'll be there. But what else is there? I mean,
Winterborn was a lot. I'm so sorry. I was like, there's another one that I could not remember of mine, and it was gonna eat me alive. The, like, large, grumpy foreign man. I couldn't remember, and I just remembered that it's Winterborn. I'm so sorry to, like, interrupt you. Anyway.
No, I was just, like, thinking, because I was gonna say Greycliff. He's not a Duke, but, like, he doesn't think he can love, and he's so repressed, and then that was supposed to be fireworks. I don't know. What else?
I mean, there's a lot of buttoned up. Heartbreaker. Did you already say him?
Yeah, no, I didn't. But that's a great example of that kind of type.
I do also love that type.
I also the Along Came a Lady, Rafe. I mean, anyone named Rafe, really. But that Rafe, who was a coal miner, and I mean, he baked when he was nervous, but he was also so gruff. But, like, I mean, that book unlocked something in me. It's, like, such an underrated book. Like, not many people have read it. But it's so good. But he's, like, a different type. I'm, like, trying to look at... other ones I've read.
I feel like I have multiple, though, because I'm also a, like, Sebastian St. Vincent, like, the dissolute anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they're, like, suave and funny, but also don't believe that they're a good person, that hits. Frankly, the more broken, the better.
That is your vibe.
I could fix him. Actually, no, I couldn't, but I could make him worse. And he would be obsessed with me. What is, you know, my, like, the associating Tumblr posts with books?
Yeah.
I have more saved for, like, eventually I'll do another post. And I have one saved that I'm trying to figure out what book to put it with, because it's, I could fix him. Good for you, I guess. I could be the only thing he's truly afraid of.
I mean,
also,
my first thought is Sabine, but that's...
Oh my god. I only do historical romance, Rex, though.
I know.
Did I already do Devil in Winter? No, I didn't. I do have one that's Are You Decent? Not morally, but I'm wearing pants, if that's what you're asking. And that is, in fact, Sebastian St. Vincent.
Pants. I'm, like, looking at my list, and I think, like, like, using Tessa Dare, like, I think Colin, like, I think A Week to Be Wicked is one of my favorite books in that series. It's tied with Any Duchess Will Do. But I think Colin versus Griff, I think I'd have to choose Griff. There's just something so broken about him, but so gifted sexually.
I love...
And I mean, so is Colin.
Broken men.
I mean, they're both broken in different ways.
Is it even a historical romance if the hero isn't broken?
No, because I was even like the One Fine Duke, like, it's a very low angst book, and like Drew is like a very like pretty like low key hero, but yeah, I mean, he's got heaps of trauma. Loads.
You know what really? We had talked in our TBR episode about Hitch to the Gunslinger and the other one.
Yeah.
You were saying that you thought I was gonna like the first one because you like the second one, and we tend to be opposites on these things. And you were correct. I did like the first one. I did like the first one better than the second. I mean, they were both 4 stars.
Yeah,
like, they were really pretty on par. But you know what? It's that, like, grumpy, gruff, like, begrudgingly doing kind things, but he just wants to take a nap.
Those are the vibes, like his horse.
My favorite parts of the second book were Gray walking around with a baby strapped to his chest, like, grinning maniacally while what's-his-name has to go do terrible jobs. Like, Gray was so funny in that book.
Which I think fits perfectly into this whole, like, discussion of, like, heroes, because I wouldn't want the hero of book 2. But, like, I find it very fun to read that, like, very, like, what's the word? Because, like, he always needed to be clean, and he, like, was a very, like, he was almost kind of wimpy. I don't know.
Scrimpy. Yeah, he was very, like, persnickety and...
Yeah, persnickety, that's a good one. Like, Colin in A Week to Be Wicked, like, he just is a very, just, like, peacocky. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like, I love that book, and I love him. And so, like, I am hit with that arrow sometimes of just...
Oh, I don't think the, like, big gruff man that, like, I was talking about being one of my favorite heroes, like, I would never end up with that kind of person in real life. But I don't think that means... I don't think that your favorite archetypes have to be the people that you would actually...
Oh, no, not at all. So that's why I'm, like, I think it's, like, very fun to read about like, that kind of hero for me.
Right. I've said many times, one of the only romance heroes I've ever read that I was like, I could actually be with that man in real life, West Ravenel.
I was gonna say, you're a Westie.
That's not my favorite kind of hero to read about necessarily.
And that's why Matthew Swift is mine.
My God, West Ravenel.
Yeah, I feel that.
That man is my dream.
That's my Matthew Swift.
That is who I want.
What a lovely
That is
man.
where my priorities lie. With West Ravenel.
The duality of me is Matthew Swift and Rydstrom. Like, what? Who is she? They're so different.
They do different things, though.
They do. Cause like, but Rydstrom's also that like solidly good, like he's begrudgingly good, like he wants to be bad, and like his preening in the mirror when she like scratches down his back because he can like feel bad, like wicked, because he needs like a wicked woman because he just has to be good all the time, and he really can't. Well, someone declared war on me on Twitter.
I saw that.
Yeah, but also when was Rydstrom terrible to Sabine? I'm sorry. I mean, maybe you won't like it because you don't like the embarrassment, but she was like, I don't know. I mean, wrong. But also,
no, I was saying I don't think I'm gonna not like it.
Okay. Well, but no, not you wrong. Like I just
they're wrong.
Yeah, no, they're very wrong. I mean, they were not all peace and love to this person. I have no clue who you are.
Sorrows, prayers.
I don't know how you found the random thread I was in, but tweeting at me that you really can't understand the appeal of Rydstrom is really not the battle to forge on ahead with. I mean, I didn't even like respond to it because I mean, like we had just released the episode where I was like, I literally like can't get behind people not liking that book. And shout out to Danny at Overflowing Shelves. She was in my DMs like, yeah, let's go to the mattresses for that man. It's also her favorite book. Like I'm so
sorry. You saying that, this is not even a little bit related except for the go to the mattresses comment. Just unlocked in my brain.
Amazing.
Can you imagine if in the song Better Than Revenge we're on Taylor Swift again? You know the chorus, she's not a saint. She's an actress.
She's better known for
the things that she does on the mattress. What if she was not referring to sex? What? What
is her readiness to declare war?
What if she was referring to her being a wrestler, like a killer wrestler? She's better known. That's all I'm gonna think of when I hear that song now. Is her like body slamming somebody into the ground.
I mean, great. What I think of is that when I heard that, health class was really pushing huffing and the dangers of it, and like getting high on like random nitrous oxide things.
Sure.
And so when I first heard it, I thought she's better known for the things that she does on the nitrous, like nitrous oxide. I thought this was just huffing shit. And like progressed to lover, and then Taylor is singing about being high and stuff, but like I really, because I just didn't like, I was like, no, she can't be singing mattress. I was like, nitrous. I didn't even know what nitrous was.
Oh my god.
But it's a core memory of me just being like, what things did she do on the nitrous? Like, what?
I just think it's a banger.
It is.
I'm not good at revenge. I'm petty, but I'm not
why I love
confrontational.
Reading about it.
But I love being like,
yeah, get that revenge.
Not a saint. Yeah, she's an actress.
I mean, that's a sick burn. Also, like the toys on the playground won't make like stealing other people's toys on the playground won't make you many friends. Like just calling her a child.
That's so true. It's also like.
Sit in the corner and think about what you did.
She was like, hear me out though. Maybe this is a pro-feminist song. What reduces men more than being like, you stole my toy on the playground?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No, he didn't have any thought in there.
Forever and Always. She has like a similar like metaphor. And my favorite knowledge about that is when I was like deep into the Taylor lore. She like Forever and Always was the last song that she recorded for Fearless, because like Joe had just made the infamous 27-second phone call, and so she like went into that studio with a fucking like bone to pick with him, and that's why I think she released the piano version, because I don't think she gave it any thought of like what instrumentation she want besides just like going for it in the studio version. And so, like, I love knowing that she had to have written Better Than Revenge right after that. And, like, it was put on Speak Now. And then Last Kiss you get, which is, I mean, just the whole triangle web she wove in that regard. I mean, incredible.
Well,
no relevance to
this
episode. Yeah, all the bases. I mean, honestly, if Willa, no, because no one was really with Dom.
I think Red is their album, though. It's big, like, Second Chance, You Betrayed Me.
Yeah, I feel like I Almost Do is a song that gets overshadowed by All Too Well, because I feel like I Almost Do is kind of like a cousin or like an older sibling of All Too Well. But that's a banger of a song too, in a different way. It's true. And I feel like that's a good one. 'Cause there's always that, like, what if, like, thinking about them. Holy Ground, another great
I was just thinking, like, literally Red.
Yeah. Oh, just the song Red?
Yeah.
Intriguing. Red.
Yes.
Sell your Eras tickets. I'm Taylor now. I'll give you the full concert.
Oh.
At
all
a
right.
Deeply discounted rate of free. Yeah, we did it. On a different note, since we're in the outro portion of the episode, I made a Goodreads account for the podcast because I, like, go into Goodreads all the time when I'm doing the show notes. And so it was, like, making me sign in. And I was like, I don't want to. But the man got me down, and I just made an account. And so I have updated it to where we have Caroline's Recs, Hannah's Recs. We've got all of our fake engagement ones in a shelf. We've got all of the road trip ones. We've got all the ones we mentioned in TBR Tuesday in season 1. It'll be updated again for season 2, which is, like, the shelf has things, but we've only done, like, 2 of those episodes this season. Friday episode, book shelves. Every book we mention, some of them aren't recs, but that's just there. It's like 400 books in that one. But that will be linked in the show notes if you want to follow it and or friend us. I don't know. It seems useful in some regard. So,
indeed,
that exists. Our newsletter also exists.
Someday I'll send out another one.
Someday we will get drunk and record.
It's gonna happen. All to hear. It might be my internship ends the end of this month, and we're all very sad about it. So maybe we'll just get drunk then.
Yeah, I'll be down for that.
And I'll have some free time because I'm probably gonna take a break between, like, the end of that and starting something new. So the sheer amount of time I will have,
amazing,
to hopefully go on my finally commit to my Immortals After Dark binge.
And that's what we're gonna do. I think those we're obviously not gonna do an episode per book because I mean if we did, I would be the swearing emoji for Dreams of a Dark Warrior. Like, that would just be me the entire episode. Like, I would have nothing good to say about that book. So, like, can't commit to that. But we could do, like, an episode or 2 of, like, you know, breaking series, like the first half and the second half, because it's a very specific feel for the first half, and then the second half is so different.
See, I think I'm just gonna read all of them, and then we're gonna get drunk and do an after hours episode.
Amazing. I mean, that's gonna be so long, but so worth it. I'm so excited. I just really need you to read the demon books.
I really have been edging the demon books.
I know you have. It's like an edging like no other. You have really created an edging like no other.
I just, like, am not mentally prepared to read all of those books.
I wasn't either. And reading them so fast and back to back, especially those really heavy ones in the middle, was a lot. Yeah. It did something to me that has not been repaired yet, and it never will be. Just forewarning you. But that episode's going to be great. I mean, horny on the main or horny on the after hours, really.
Yep. We're always horny on the main.
So many of, that is very true. So many of those men have penises that would shame Dom. To bring it back around.
That is so frightening.
Yeah. Especially,
We have been talking not even a little bit about the book for so long. It's 7 p.m. and I'm a glass of wine in.
That sounds like a Taylor Swift song.
It's not,
like,
but...
No, it's 3 a.m. and I'm still awake. It's 7 a.m. and a glass of wine. I think she can make that a banger.
I'm sure
Taylor,
she could.
if you're listening.
If she
we
can
got
make
song lyrics for you.
3 Sad Virgins.
Three Sad Virgins. What?
I'm still waiting for that to be released on Spotify.
I'm still waiting for Hits Different. I know you. Oh yeah, you.
I am too. I've heard it enough times.
Yeah,
now
I was gonna say because you have now. That song is great. That's my favorite song on the album, and so they don't even have it on the vinyl.
No.
So like I couldn't even like get the vinyl and play that in my room. Like I mean I have the CD. I can literally just like get it on my lap. Like I can do it, but
I have fully bought into the theory that it's going to be on the Barbie movie soundtrack, and that's why she hasn't released it.
God, that would be great.
I don't know. There's no evidence to that. It's just a theory.
I saw the fan edit of it.
No, there was I assume they did that because of the theory that's why.
Okay.
There was like a Taylor Swift video that the Barbie account commented like hits different on.
Oh, I see what trickles down to Twitter. So I'm not really on TikTok much. Okay, that makes sense. Because I saw the video, the trailer with Hits Different, which worked so well. Like I don't even care about the lyrics, like just the music vibe. Oh.
Well, there was that, and then there's the lyrics in Hits Different where she says she used to switch out these Kens.
Yeah.
Again, there's no evidence, but I would love if she releases it.
Yeah, I would have connected those dots a lot quicker.
For the Barbie movie. I just would love that very much.
That would be so fun. That song is great.
It's a very weird song to me because like banger, but also it's so sad.
Yeah. Yeah. But she was so relatable. Like, I'll just go throw up in the street. Yeah. Yeah, I will. I'm a Cancer. I'm ruled by my stomach. I'm just going to go throw up on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really need to wrap this up because we fully have talked maybe more about Taylor Swift than we have about the book. Maybe not.
Well, Dom's dick hit different. So.
You're not wrong.
Dom's dick different.
And Willa hit different with that crop.
True. Yeah. Look at us.
It hits different.
Smack.
What? Okay, that's enough. End the recording.